The moment our fellow geeks, dweebs, nerds, and other unfortunates have been fervently waiting for has finally arrived. It's time for TMI, Confessionals of the Nerd Kind. And now, your hosts, Jeff Nerf Herder Chandler and Jim Kaiju Baker. And now, let's get on with the show. Here is TMI.
So you just saw this yesterday.
I did. Well, when did you see it?
I saw it Thursday. Dude, can I just tell you, what a hell of a time to be a nerd. We're sitting in Nerdvana right now.
They're just coming out. They're banging them out.
This last month has just been insane. And what's even more insane is the fact that we used to do this every week. And then
I know this show was a weekly show that we had to get our butts to the theater.
I don't think people realize just how much work goes into cultivating news, doing your research before the movie, watching the movie, taking notes, cultivating your notes, maybe doing some more research on the back end, because now I know all the spoilers and maybe I want to find out about a certain scene or an actor. We got a concession tree, and then we have, what else did you do? Well, not a hell of a lot, but we used to do this weekly, and I'm just like, holy crap. I thought I had my week planned out. And then yesterday I spent all day down here pulling together these notes from a movie I saw 2 days prior.
And then you've got to pull together notes for the co-feature as well. So
right. Yeah. 2 movies. And the one thing I will say is, I know, like you said, you literally just walked out of the theater yesterday. And like, we covered Superman last week, and there's stuff that I wish that we had talked about, because you forget about this stuff and you're like, damn, you see a meme and you're like, I forgot that Mr. Terrific rode on the back of Crypto at one point, or he pulled off that Death Blossom spin with his eye beams.
Yes.
And it's like stupid. It's like, it's too much. You got to push yourself away from it and take it in.
But yes, today we are talking about Fantastic Four. It's finally here.
Yeah.
We've both seen it.
Baby steps, first steps.
They're not putting their foot all the way into the pool just yet, apparently, with its title. But
I could have done without the tagline, because they've been Fantastic Four for 4 years.
It makes it sound like this is their first rodeo in what's happening in this movie, but you get a montage at the beginning, and it's obviously not.
Which is brilliant, the way that they set this up.
It is.
I don't know. Maybe this is Marvel subtly saying, this is our baby steps. Maybe we're really trying to straighten out this phase 6.
If they continue on this path, I got no problems with them calling everything baby steps from now on.
I don't know. We're going right back into Secret Wars and Doomsday. So they're skipping all the baby steps. They're going right to running marathon.
Right. So we kept with the numbers theme, Fantastic Four. Yes. So we thought we'd find another good number movie to cover along with it. And we've never done Super 8.
No. And it's funny, because at first I didn't really see the connection. I'm like, we got an adjective plus a number. And you're like, well, what other movies are out there that we could have, you got Magnificent 7 and Hateful 8 were the only 2 I could come up with. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a ton of other movies that have numbers after them. Everything from Capricorn 1 to Death Race 2000. But I like what you did there. Super 8. Fantastic. So we'll have to find out. Is it fantastic? Is it super? Stay tuned. Yes. So Super 8. That was 2011. J.J. Abrams' little Steven Spielberg love letter.
Yeah. Well, it's not like he didn't have his fingers in the pot, Mr. Spielberg. So,
no, but this does remind me a lot of what we just covered with Jurassic Park Rebirth, which is, let's make a love letter to one of Spielberg's movies.
Although now that you're aware of it, the lens flare is off the charts.
Well, the train sequence specifically, but if you really want to get some J.J. Abrams solar flares going on, watch Star Trek, the 2009 Star Trek. Like he just had a flashlight in the camera lens the entire movie. It's like, is that Spock? I can't tell. Is that? Before we dive in, we do have some news because, as I mentioned, it's a good day to be a nerd. And we are currently at the end of July, and it is Comic-Con season, specifically San Diego Comic-Con.
It is. It is.
So it was reported a while ago that Marvel and DC would not have a huge presence in Hall H this year. They both bowed out, which is interesting because you would think that you'd want to hype this movie.
Although Comic-Con, usually you're getting the first scoop at Comic-Con.
Right.
So I think they'd just be rehashing old territory if they were coming in with Fantastic Four.
Well, you also, I mean, so I will say that there was a Peacemaker panel and James Gunn showed up and he got a standing ovation. So it's also worthy of taking a victory lap. And he's going on record like, I love this stuff. This is the stuff I grew up with, and I want to keep making this stuff, and I'm making it for people like you. So one day I'll get to San Diego. I don't know. I've done New York Comic-Con a couple times, and it's overwhelming.
Oh, yeah. And now it's off the charts. San Diego is like the Comic-Con capital of the world.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine the insanity with all the people that go to that.
Oh, it is Nerds Unite. Yeah.
I don't know what you have to do to get into one of those halls to see one of those presentations.
Stand in line for a very long time. Slap on your colostomy bag. And just wait it out. I don't know. I got better things to do. I'll watch the highlights on YouTube. So, but I'm sure that the vibe there when you're live is insane. So a couple little news items have dropped. We're on the tail end. We're now Sunday so it's kind of wrapping up today. But Michael Giacchino, who we will be speaking about later, who composed the music for Fantastic Four, also directed a Marvel movie. What was it? It was like a special presentation.
Special presentation, just like the old CBS.
Yeah. A couple years ago, we covered that. Werewolf by Night.
Yep. Still waiting for the sequel to that.
Well, so that's exactly what this news item is, which is they've confirmed that there is a sequel. But more importantly, he is now writing a comic book. So he's gone from director to comic book writer. And usually that's the other way around.
Did he write the story of the first Werewolf by Night?
I don't think he did, but it sounds like he is now taking over and writing this Werewolf by Night Blood Moon Rise. And it's a one shot, but it supposedly it's like an untold tale that takes place within the original 1970s Werewolf by Night comic book run. And that he does promise a fun twist. So
this isn't the sequel. The film sequel.
This is in addition to the fact that they are going back, and I would assume it's just going to be another Marvel special presentation for Disney Plus. Would be the sequel, not a full-on movie. But in that, we did get some of these monsters, including Man-Thing, which was fun.
We did, yeah.
So, I guess the comic book itself drops this week, July 30th. So if you're a comic book nerd and you go to the comic store, you got a local comic book store, add it to your pull list.
Yeah. I wonder if they would ever do a Man-Thing standalone. Adrienne Barbeau is available.
She's still out there. That's typecasting. So we saw you active with this guy covered in moss.
And they got to get that kid as well that owned the gas station.
Yeah, because he was rejuvenated.
Yeah.
He was dead. Swamp Thing brought him back. Maybe he's got like super swamp powers now or something.
There goes the neighborhood.
There goes the neighborhood. It's also been reported that Taika Waititi is going to be directing a new Judge Dredd.
I did see that, yes.
Okay, I'm intrigued with this, although I did like this Carl Urban version that came out a couple years ago. So this will be the third reboot of this franchise.
Is Judge Dredd DC?
No, Judge Dredd is actually, I think he's from the UK. It was Eagle Comics, I think.
Okay.
So, and from what I understand, this will adhere a little closer to the actual comic source material. No more Sly walking around going, "I am the law." Matter of fact, I don't even think Carl Urban's version talked.
I didn't see Carl Urban's version.
You didn't
as a matter
see
of
it?
fact,
You need
no.
to check it out. You need to check it out just for giggles. I also don't know if you saw this, and I just think it's fantastic, is the Spider-Man Noir trailer with Nick Cage.
I did not see the trailer, but I'm aware that that is coming. Yes.
No, because I sent it to you. You didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it. Like you should know better. I'm like, I don't want to watch this.
I never know which one you want to see and which one you don't.
Yeah.
I will say I immediately said we need to pair this up with Sin City because it looks just like.
Hey, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that since the theatrical run. So yes.
I know. I immediately. So we watched the trailer for the Spider Noir. And then I made sure that my children also watched the trailer for Sin City.
So this is a Disney Plus? Is Spider Noir a Disney Plus thing?
It looks like, I think it was Amazon Prime.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because it's Sony, right? So I guess, yeah, that would make sense.
So is it dropping in theaters or is it dropping on streaming?
Good question.
I don't know.
Don't know?
Yeah. I don't know. There's no timeline that was attached to the trailer. I do know it looks like a lot of fun. So we were introduced to this character into the Spider-Verse, the animated version, who Nick Cage also voiced. And so now he's carrying it over to live action. So that bodes well for Peter Porker. Eventually, maybe we'll get a live action Peter Porker. That would be fun. So
perhaps, yeah, all those alternate Spider-Men, alternate Spider-Men.
For my first appearance of Spider-Ham comic book to go up in value even more. I'm going to retire on that one. Not. So other news items, I guess this came out like last year, but now it's being confirmed. Tim Burton is making a remake of Attack of the 50-Foot Woman.
Now, again, this is something that's been remade 3 times already.
3 times?
The original. Then there was one with Daryl Hannah. And I believe there was one in between.
That. I don't remember that.
You don't remember the Daryl Hannah one?
No.
I think it was a Showtime movie. It wasn't theatrical.
Oh. Was it a comedy?
It's got to be a comedy. Come on.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
So I guess this was rumored last year, and then he kind of like backed off and said, "Well, I'm not really attached." But now all of a sudden, Margot Robbie has come out and said that she is attached, not only to star in it, but also to produce it for Warner Brothers, who backed her for the Barbie movie. So apparently it's now back on, and this is going to be a thing. So what is the story of this? This lady gets mutated by an alien and grows into this giant. I remember the movie poster.
I do not know offhand. I've seen them. I've seen the original
with them. She's just a giant 50-foot woman running around eating people. I don't know what she's doing.
Well, yeah, clothes magically change in all movies. Happened in Swamp Thing with that guy that turned into the little, the mini-me version of himself.
With the shirt that still fit him.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go back to last episode.
Swamp Thing.
Episode 346, Swamp Thing. What a movie.
Yeah, let's just scrap this and do the booby jokes again all through this episode.
Oh, we can. Yeah. So, and finally, I want one more news item, and then we can talk movies. I found this absolutely fascinating. So the Alamo, and I'm not talking Alamo Draft House. I'm not talking Alamo Car Rental. I am talking about the actual Alamo.
Parker's Alamo?
Best Parker's Alamo has officially announced that they have acquired the Hero Bike from Pee-wee's Playhouse. Pee-wee's Big Adventure is now part of they're creating this new visitor center and museum. Okay, so the Mays Family Legacy Gallery will explore the Alamo's lasting cultural impact. So Pee-wee's Big Adventure stunt bicycle will be on display along with film clips, music, toys, and other memorabilia that have introduced the Alamo to new generations in unexpected and memorable ways.
Well, in that case, bring them back up again. They need Fess Parker's coonskin cap in
you
there.
don't think they already own this?
I hope so.
Who else would buy that?
Well, it might be belong to the Parker family. Who knows?
It could be. They fight over it.
Yeah.
I want the cap this summer. The more fascinating aspect of this entire thing is that the new museum will have a basement. And that's where they're going to be storing it.
Really?
Yes, because obviously we've never covered Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Have we? No, I guess not.
We have not. We've covered the Christmas special. And we did talk about Pee-wee as himself, the doc. But we've never actually covered the Tim Burton. Speaking of Tim Burton.
Yeah.
So there you go. I found that absolutely fascinating. I thought that's perfect cultural touchstone right there.
That is fantastic.
Yes.
Speaking of fantastic.
Look at you. You rolled right into that one. Yes. So here we go. Fantastic Four, first steps.
First steps into the theater. What kind of trailers did you get before Fantastic Four?
Pretty much the same ones I saw for Superman. We got the Project Hail Mary.
Yep.
We did see the new Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Yes, got that too.
All these movies are gorgeous. I've never seen the second one.
No, neither have I, as a matter of fact.
That movie was so revolutionary and ahead of its time. You're like, yeah, we're good.
Predator, Badlands.
Oh, I did not get that.
Yes. And, Elle Fanning.
You actually watched it?
I just had watched Super 8 with Elle Fanning, and then she shows up in this trailer. I'm like, she looks no different. No different.
She's ageless. So how does that look? Because
it looks pretty good. It looks pretty damn good.
There's some criticism against the design of the new Predator.
Well,
he's got dreadlocks.
Well, it's just like not every person looks the same, right? So why would every Predator look the same? But the basic form of the Predator is still there. It's just it's a lifestyle choice. He's got dreadlocks. Who cares?
Lifestyle choice. Well, I think they always had dreadlocks. He just pulled it back into
he just pulled it back.
A man bun. He's got a man bun. I thought you didn't like man
he whips his hair. He whips his hair.
Oh, I hope he doesn't get whiplash.
I don't think he's got the bun. He just has it pulled back.
Interesting.
Jesse Eisenberg in Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
3?
Yep. I've never liked these movies because he's trying to play cool, and he is not cool. I'm sorry.
Are you telling me Jesse Eisenberg is not cool? If you ran into him in a room, you'd be like, dude, you're so cool.
I'd be like, oh, hello, Michael. Oh, I'm sorry, Jesse.
He has a name tag. I'm not Michael Cera. Not Michael Cera.
No, you want to be cool? Make Scott Pilgrim. That'll make you cool.
Ah, there you go. It's true. That does elevate your cool level up a notch.
Yes, but yeah, I didn't get a lot of previews, so that was pretty much it. That's what I just named off. Fantastic Four.
We are here to talk about Matt Shackman, who we have not seen since WandaVision, which we covered the episodes all the way back in like episode 160 through 68.
In able hands, obviously. Just the aesthetic. This opening montage, because this is not an origin story. You just, in this case, thankfully, you just kind of get a flashback through this television special.
Which is genius.
Yeah.
The setup of this is genius. Just like I don't need to see Peter Parker getting bit by the spider for the 8th time. Just here they are. They exist. They are in this world. And by the way, here's a film clip showing you the highlights.
It's in this alternate Earth 828, as we're introduced, and it's in what we know as the 1960s. Yeah. But it's like a forwardly advanced 1960s. Yeah, there's a lot of tech here.
I want to talk about this on the back end because I kind of broke down like the aesthetics of not only the costumes, but even like the set design. The set design on this movie is gorgeous to look at. And a lot of it has to do with this, what I could only describe as like a retro future. This is like when you went to the 1930s World Fair and they told you what the 90s are going to look like. You're going to have monorails. You're going to have flying cars. You're going to have robots, Rosie the Robot, Jetsons. It's the Jetsons. I'm going to say this right now because it was the one thing that kept taking me out of the movie. I'm watching a live action Incredibles. They leaned into the exact same aesthetics of that 60s sunken living room, kind of look and feel.
But that's fair game because the Incredibles really aped a lot from the Fantastic Four
right
to begin with.
When we get to the end of the movie, I'm like, this baby's going full Jack.
They're just taking their property back. So
absolutely. Well, right. Unfortunately, the Incredibles, Brad Bird, up until now, that was the perfect Fantastic Four movie. It's all about family.
Up until now,
they all have their same superpowers. They're just swapped.
Yeah.
That was the only criticism I can kind of throw at this, which is I just kept going. I'm watching a live action. I mean, even the Mole Man, but again, you're telling me, Brad Bird grew up reading Fantastic Four. These were his
and speaking of the Mole Man, when you get that, and it's even ABC, the special is on
the old logo.
Owned by Disney, so that's fair game, right? They can use ABC as much as they want. They actually recreate the first issue's cover of the comic.
Yeah.
Which is like the Mole Man's monster coming up out of the ground.
Yeah, Subterranea. Yeah. But you think, so the comic book came out in 1961. Galactus didn't show up in the comics until 4 years later, 1965. So it tracks. They show up in the 60s. It's now 19. I don't think they ever said the exact date.
Yeah, looking at synopsis online, it all says in 1960, Earth 828. So somewhere in some promotional material, it must say 1960.
But again, this is the genius aspect of not putting it in a futuristic MCU world. It's its own thing. It's got its own vibe. The 60s were like this, level of optimism, it just feels right.
And everything was just bursting with color. It was like bursting through the black and white sheen into color. It just seems like everything opened up.
When we talk about the costumes and stuff, they do lean into when John Byrne took over the comics, because up to that point, I think it was black and blue. And then he introduced the white collars.
Yes.
But even look at Superman last week. We're kind of leaning out of this black 2000s spandex X-Men, the Henry Cavill Superman suit that was skin tight and sheen.
Ball accentuating suits is the only thing way I can describe it.
Needed outside underwear, that was him.
Yeah.
But it's just, these clothes look lived in. There's a scene later in this movie when Galactus grabs Reed and it just stretches him like a rubber band.
Reed, Marvel has done him no favors. He gets popped like a zit in the Doctor Strange movie, and now you can almost see his skin tearing. It's almost unbearable to watch.
It was rough. So, so right off the bat, the aesthetic of this world that they've already created. This otherworldly, it is comic books. It's fantastic. There's nothing else I can say about it.
We get this opening montage, right? So it shows that they are crime fighters, and they're the only players in the game. No other crime fighters.
No other superheroes. No mutants.
Yep.
No metahumans. Just the Fantastic Four.
So they are a big deal. So they're one of a kind.
I got the impression in watching some of this behind the scenes stuff that they're implying that it was like Reed's technology that kind of advanced this 1960s city to look the way it does.
Because they had flying cars. It was almost like Coruscant.
Yeah.
And that was the only aesthetically placed thing that I had an issue with was the Baxter building itself. I would have liked it to have looked a little more like the comics Baxter building.
Yeah, but I guess it's kind of like Avengers Tower. Like it's like a beacon at the end of the city. Yeah, you can't have a rocket launcher in the middle of Manhattan.
Yeah.
So, which is interesting. We're going to talk about that rocket later, which was named the Excelsior.
The Excelsior.
It's a nice little Stanley nod.
So after this montage, you get the background for the uninitiated.
Did we say we didn't? Spoilers. I've not seen this movie. Stop right now. At this point, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. What are these guys doing here? Yeah, we are going to spoil this. Go see the movie, then come back.
Right. But if you weren't aware of what's going on, and I wasn't really going into this because I didn't watch a lot of the previews. One thing that could be considered a spoiler is given right up front that Sue is pregnant.
And this is a nice, so again, you get this introduction, you get this a little bit of a flashback. Normally in a movie like this, you just like Superman, you start right out with a massive fist fight. They're in the midst of battle. No, we're Reed's frantically looking for something in the sock drawer, and she's sitting on the toilet, realizing she's pregnant.
Yep.
So right up front, you're getting this human element. They've always talked about Fantastic Four is Marvel's first family. And I'm going to say right now, family is front and center in this movie.
Not just Reed and Sue, all four of them together.
Yeah. And you talk about the fact that you didn't really, you kind of stayed away from spoilers. Like, I was so concerned about Pedro Pascal that I really was like, I'm not going to watch anything on this. I'm just going to sit in the theater. I had no clue that this kid who plays Johnny Storm, Joseph Quinn, was Eddie in Stranger Things.
I just want to quantify. I didn't watch the trailer, but being in the theater, I had to hear it.
Right.
So
Fantastic Four!
Pretty much every joke that is in the movie is given away in the trailer. The movie, by and large, has a serious tone to it. It is not like a Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, not
the trailer would suggest that it is. But I don't know if they wanted to dumb it down for the audience or to make it seem safe. Oh, this is going to be funny like Guardians. I'm going to go to this. It does have a serious tone, which it does need given the plot. So I was very happy with that. The only thing about it was that the jokes that are in there have all been spoiled, so they're not funny when you're watching the movie.
No, I don't. And like you said, there's moments of levity. Back to Johnny Storm, he's always been portrayed as this hothead, this playboy, this jerk who's always pulling pranks on Ben. And they do have a little bit of a playful relationship, but no, it's not as in your face as it has been in past movies,
right?
Or even in the comics, for that matter. The funniest parts of the whole movie are Mole Man.
Yes,
this guy is fantastic. I'm just like, I want more of this guy. And I didn't know who that was either. Paul Walter Hauser.
He played Richard Jewell in Clint Eastwood's movie. He's Stingray in Cobra Kai, so you should be familiar with that.
Yes, yeah. He kicked beat the crap out of those kids in the hallway. You did want to see a little bit more of that.
Yeah,
a little levity.
After we get the setup and that Sue is pregnant, you see that she has become like a world leader of sorts. She talks at the UN all the time.
Yeah, this looks like there's a Frontier Foundation. What was the name of this? A Future Foundation that it looks like she founded. So here's the one thing which I really like is that in these flashbacks, when you're seeing these kind of, behind the scenes, super 8mm shots of them as astronauts, they're all scientists. Because it never made any sense why Johnny got to go up in space just because he was Sue's brother. He had nothing to contribute. Here, he's another member.
Because Reed says,
give him a story arc.
Reed, during his voiceover during the ABC thing, he says, I brought some of the greatest minds with me, who happen to be my wife, my brother-in-law, and my best friend.
No nepotism here going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to go back just a little bit. When the opening Marvel logo shows up and it's more like that Cinerama design.
Yes. People
in my audience cheered.
The look of this thing is just beautiful. It's fantastic. Yeah. So I want it to stay on this Earth 828. Let him come for Doomsday to our Earth, to the MCU Earth, but for future Fantastic Four, it should be set in that reality. Yeah, and I'm curious how this is going to play out now, knowing that they're going to show up in Avengers Doomsday. Because there's a scene in this movie where I'm like, we're going to slingshot around a black hole and accidentally break through some kind of a wormhole timeline. It doesn't happen. If you notice during that Sue Storm talking to the UN scene, there's an empty seat in the UN. Latveria. Yeah, so it is a nice little nod to Dr. Doom not playing along with the rest of because it's like this peace and prosperity. She's pulled everyone together. This team has united the planet.
And you do see that later when they decide that they're going to, Reed comes up with a plan to somehow thwart Galactus. And I do have some serious issues with this plan, by the way. Listen, I'm not going to question Reed Richards' genius, but there is a flaw in this plan, big time.
We are introduced to Herbie, who is one of the beloved, maybe not by all, beloved characters from the early 80s. Was it late 70s,
no,
early 80s?
I think it was late 70s. It was even before the 80s.
The NBC Saturday morning cartoon show. There's been a couple of cartoon shows over the years.
Oh, absolutely.
The one that is aped directly is from the 60s in this movie, but the one in the late 70s removed the Human Torch altogether from the equation and replaced him with Herbie because they were afraid that kids would light themselves on fire if they saw the Human Torch.
Okay, so I thought the exact same thing. And then I was watching Screen Crush, and he says that the reason that the torch was not included in the cartoon was because that there was a licensing right that they were going to make a live action Human Torch movie. And the licensing rights were tied up. And so that's why they introduced Herbie. But I've always heard the exact same story you just reiterated.
Yeah.
They didn't want, matter of fact, I think John Byrne actually did a story in the comics where Johnny Storms decides he's never going to be the Torch again because some little kid wanted to emulate him and put himself on fire. And it ended up in like the burn unit with 3rd-degree burns. And I'm like, that's how we weed out the weak kids. Listen, you and I both watch Tom and Jerry cartoons. I don't run around hitting my brother over the head with a frying pan, or the Three Stooges for that matter.
Or trying to cut off my cat's whiskers.
I can't believe you just mentioned it. My cousin actually did that to my grandma's cat. He cut off its whiskers.
Because of the little French mouse?
I don't know if it was because of that.
Come here, pussycat.
Yeah, pussy. He needed a new crambone.
Yep.
Froggy Wintercorton. Anyways, we digress.
So the big question to you,
yes.
The big question to you, were you still bothered by the Thing's voice?
No, I was used to it. As a matter of fact, I thought that it was soothing.
Really?
So my two big issues, right? So going into this movie was I couldn't get over the fact that Ben Grimm was talking like he should have been up on Broadway singing. I didn't have any problems with that. Now he was Eben Moss Baccarat, like he was on set in motion capture. They didn't alter his voice in any way, shape, or form. I think maybe I've just seen it too many times in the trailer. So I was just like, whatever. It's a me issue. I'm not holding it against it. So I had no problems with that whatsoever. And I will say, all of my fears and concerns about Pedro Pascal gone. This guy nails this character. And I will say they give him a lot to do without, because Reed Richards it's a tough character to begin with because he's so cerebral. And again, you see the minute that Sue introduces or tells them they find out that they're pregnant, like all he's concerned about is that we now have been bombarded with these cosmic rays. What's going to happen to this kid? Is this kid going to be okay? Is it going to be? And he's just like, you see him, he's 3 steps ahead. Even like later on, trying to, when you find out what Galactus is really up to. And Sue knows. She's like, oh, wait a minute. I know exactly what you're thinking. But I think he just plays it. I loved him. I keep saying this, fantastic. And it's stupid. It's cliched. But he nails this.
He does. He's not overly jokey. He's got that level of like dorkiness and awkwardness, like from a lifetime of probably feeling on the outside for being so smart.
He's always the smartest kid in the class. He's the stupid kid that raises his hand every time. You even see he's got like his own Mr. Science TV show.
Yep.
And he's talking about multiverses, and the kids are sitting there yawning. Like you see, and this plays out in the comics for a long time. Like he blames himself for what happened to them. His calculations were off when they went up into space. He's the reason they all have to deal with this, and especially Ben. Mostly
Ben, because everybody else kind of can deal with what happened to them. That's been
a plot point in the comics for years, which is I got to do what I got to do to convert Ben back to being a human. This guy's encased in rock, you know, although he was pretty loved by the people and the kids.
He was, and I love the fact that he walks around in the trench coat and the hat,
Oh,
just
sure,
like he
straight out of
does.
the comics, yeah.
Just like that, those are his street
like
clothes.
he's hiding himself. Come on,
Yeah.
we all know who you are.
Yep.
So, but even like there's a little side story of Johnny keeps hounding him, make us new spacesuits. And again, you see that he doesn't want to do it. It's clear that they've not gone back up into space since this accident 4 years ago. And he doesn't want to do it. No, because I effed it up the first time. Well, it makes me think it's not going to happen again. He's constantly second guessing himself. So he's not like this all-knowing genius that just sits back and tells everybody what's going to happen.
There's a lot of self-doubt in him. Like he hesitates before he speaks, and he's not. Like
at one point, Sue sees Herbie building the crib, and she gets mad at him because he's trying to make calculations on something else. Like he's like, well, he can't do this. I can.
There's so many little touches to him. Like he's doing some subtle things. Like he calls Herbie Herbert at one point, even though Herbie is an acronym.
Which was practical on set, by the way. So I guess they built this Herbie out of like cardboard and little metal, and then they just augmented him in CG. But he is on set, so he was a practical puppet, and he's voiced by Matthew Woods, who also did General Grievous. He is an ILM sound designer, so he's like in there. He's like right in the footsteps of Ben Burt.
And if you're looking for him, there are so many little Easter eggs for the comic crowd. There's one scene where the world at large treats the Fantastic Four like the Kennedys. That's the only comparison I can.
You know what? And again, because it takes place in the 60s, you got that level of optimism. You're right.
So as soon as she's pregnant, the world knows that she's pregnant.
Oh no, that was 63. Did Kennedy even get shot then? Like if they
did he exist? Did he exist in this Earth?
I don't know.
But I think that they referenced that Nixon was president at some point, didn't they?
Did they? Oh wow, they're going right into like.
But they say that the Yancey Street bookies are betting on if the baby is going to be a boy or a girl.
Sure, but again, this is like this is Camelot. This is like when probably Jackie O announced that she was pregnant.
And there's so many other like nice little things where Reed is doing the ultrasound himself on Sue, and she makes her stomach invisible so he can see the baby, which is so cool. Yeah,
he's not mutated.
Yeah,
he doesn't have 6 fingers. Although later on, the CG baby a little questionable.
Suddenly, it's like the Ally McBeal dancing baby.
he did border on. This kid grew 6 months in like 30 days. It's like, wait a minute. Is he going to be like a grown adult? This is like Ice Age or Ice Pirates now.
And in the background, while we're getting this introduction to the Fantastic Four and Reed's worry that the baby is not going to be normal, he keeps getting transmissions from deep space, which are people talking in different languages. And the cool thing is that they put them on an album when they record the transmissions.
Tell me, as an audiophile, you don't want that record player that Johnny had in his room.
But Johnny, the other thing was that Johnny just took the album, handling it with his fingers, by the way, on the grooves.
So you immediately
puts it on the table. I'm like, come on.
But it's also a gold record, which is a callback to Voyager.
Yes.
That's what we did when we sent out our Sounds of Earth. During all of this, you get this montage as well that they've encountered a handful of their old nemesis. You hear the story that, Mole Man gets, name checked. We see him, Puppet Master, Diablo, Mad Thinker. And then they mentioned a Red Ghost. And apparently John Malkovich filmed all these scenes as the Red Ghost and his damn monkeys, and they cut it.
Oh,
he's on
really?
The cutting room floor. They just said it just as wonderful as he was. And I guess he's in the first trailer, which again, you didn't see, and I guess I missed it, is gone. So the other interesting thing which is no mention of the Skrulls.
Well, it's a different reality. Maybe they don't exist here.
Yeah.
Reed is perfecting a teleportation system where he's moving an egg from one.
You think this would have been the first thing that he created?
Like a teleporter to the other. So, you know that this is going to come back into play.
Especially when Jeff Goldblum and that fly show up. You're like, here we go.
It's only like 15 minutes in before we get a meteor shower coming down over New York. And of course, the Fantastic Four investigate. And we are introduced to the Silver Surfer, Julia Garner as the Silver Surfer. Now, you know, a lot has been made that my Silver Surfer isn't a girl. It didn't matter one iota to me.
No, and after you watch this movie, you realize why they did that. Because her and Johnny connect. Yes. And that gives him his storyline. Yeah. My bigger question is, how does she comb her hair? But one of the funniest running jokes was like literally the first question he asks her is the board part of your body? It's like, what the? But yeah, she comes down. She comes down and basically says, oh yeah, by the way, my boss is on his way. Prepare. What is that phrase she uses, which is then die with yours? Is that like an intergalactic FU? Die with yours.
No, she said it was a blessing.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't sound like
so.
A
As you know, die. Like die with your family. You know, so instead of on your own.
No, thanks. I'll pass it.
But you know, of course, it builds to the big I Herald Galactus. Dun dun dun.
There is correct. The original Silver Surfer was Norrin Radd. I think originally in Jack Kirby's initial introduction of this character, Galactus had somehow created him, but then later it was revealed that he was from a planet and he chose to sacrifice himself to be Galactus's herald to save his planet. Exactly what her storyline is. And Shala Bal was his wife, but then there's an alternate storyline, Earth X, where she is the Silver Surfer, and that's where she comes from. Alex Ross, I think, did the cover art for that. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Doug Jones, I think, was the original in the Fantastic Four 2000s movie.
As you said, it gives Johnny his plot points because Johnny always feels like he doesn't have anything to do in the Fantastic Four so much as the others. He chases the Surfer as she is departing after she's heralded Galactus and grabs onto her board, and she turns around, says something in her native tongue, which die with yours if we find out.
I thought it was get your hands off my board, you damn stinking ape.
But from that point on, for the rest of the movie, he's working on deciphering what she said because he ties what she said to the language that he hears on the records that they've gotten.
So that's nice. It gives him something to do. Because you're right. Normally, Johnny is just, he's a playboy. Yeah. And that does play into this because he immediately is hitting on her. Someone better give him the Dead Sea Scrolls so he can decipher those as well. Yeah. So this is a nice sequence. So they have to go into space. We can't wait for this guy to come down here. We got to go there.
Yep.
So what does Reed do? He just makes Sue a nice big pregnant suit. It's like, why don't you leave her home?
But they go up into space and they've got this cool hyperspace add-on.
So this is an FTL ring. It's a faster than light ring. And we've seen this before in Babylon 5. They use it, the Jedi ships use it in Attack of the Clones to get from planet to planet.
Okay.
So, but it's genius. And so, right. So it's like a ring in space. And this to me was very 2001-esque, where you got the cameras on the ship as it's rotating to lock in with this ring, just like the opening sequence when they're docking on the space station. And I think that Shackman has said not only this, but also Interstellar were big influences on a lot of the aesthetics when he was creating these scenes. And it shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they track the Surfer because they have her heat signature. So they track her all the way to wherever Galactus is, and they come upon him devouring a planet.
Dude, so, did this giant thing when it came through the planet, did it remind you of like the spice worms of Arrakis?
Yes,
like
yes, it did.
That big maw. And they're like, what's going on here? So this whole sequence is fantastic. Again, I'm sorry, my limited vocabulary. It's evasive maneuvers. What? We got to get out of this thing.
Yeah.
Let's go closer. What?
They get stuck in a tractor beam.
Yeah.
They're beamed onto Galactus's giant, enormous ship, and they're just like little ants walking around on this ship once they're on board.
This reminds me again of Star Trek: The Motion Picture when they get off, and they're going to meet V'ger.
Talk about comics accurate.
But you just see them minuscule in the far right-hand side of the screen, and it's all like this black nebula. The one thing I really wanted a little bit more of is that, what I refer to, Jack Kirby, the Kirby crackles, like the way he used to draw those space scenes with all like these little dots and black speckles. They actually refer to it as Kirby crackle. And I would have liked to have seen a little bit of that. But that scene where it's just all like this black nebula and then his eyes just light up.
Yep.
He is so comic accurate. It is insane. And you're like, this is badass right now. And I'm not a big black cloud floating around. This is
Galactus. This is the Galactus that you know. They've been scanned already once they approach the ship.
Sure,
so Galactus is now aware of the baby. He is willing to negotiate.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah. Because he says something about this baby being like his salvation.
He doesn't want the baby as a herald. He's saying that the baby will take his place.
He was going to eat the baby because he doesn't want. So in the comic book lore, Galactus doesn't want to be doing this. He's somehow driven to do this. And here's my big problem. So the surfer comes to Earth to say, oh, yeah, by the way, my boss is on his way to eat your planet. You pass 8 other planets on the way there. Eat those. There's nobody on them. I do believe that there was a storyline with Norrin Radd's Silver Surfer that he would go out of his way to try and find planets that weren't populated.
Because Galactus has to take all the resources. That's what he sucks up on, like through all the stuff that he's hooked up to in his throne. So I would imagine that like eating the moon or Mars wouldn't give him anything.
I don't know. It's empty calories. Is that all you're saying?
Yeah.
He needs, give him a Snickers.
He needs oxygen. He needs plant life. He needs all that stuff.
But it does sound like he eats rocks for breakfast.
Because when he lands on Earth a little bit later, he like puts his hand in the ground and he lets it sift through his fingers. Like, this is the good stuff right here.
Yeah, so this is like pawing your dinner plate, right?
Yeah.
You're putting your fork in the mashed potatoes. And to be honest with you, he did not need to do that. We just saw him capture them with a tractor beam. You don't need to go onto the planet. Just freaking tractor beam the baby up.
Yeah.
So, but don't get me wrong, because that is a that sequence is spot on.
It's full kaiju sequence. In New York. Yeah.
And he turns and he looks at the Statue of Liberty and he just kind of like, stupid idiots. This little baby statue here. So they're like, well, we're not going to give up this baby.
No, so they say no. They escape to get back to Earth, and they have to, because they lost the hyperspace ring, so they have to go around like the Nova or whatever it was to get the impetus to get back to Earth.
Yep. So Sue goes into labor while they're escaping. You've got the Silver Surfer who can just phase into the ship, chasing after them. And Sue gives birth and still saves their asses. Do I have to do everything?
Ben is there and Johnny is there. It's like you'd think she would say, "Can you guys leave the room?" As this,
can somebody take off your space pants, honey? Here comes the space baby.
Yep, and here comes Uncle Ben. He's going to catch it.
Yeah, but this is where I really thought, all right, because we've already seen the ship show up at the end of Thunderbolts, and you're like, this is what's going to happen. They're going to miscalculate and they're going to end up somehow in our universe. No, they're gone for like a month.
So the whole world is waiting with bated breath for the Fantastic Four to come back to tell them that they have defeated Galactus.
So you defeated them, right? No. Well, wait, what? This is where you lie. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
He wanted to negotiate. Oh, what did he want to negotiate?
He wants our baby. Well, did you give it to him? No.
So does that mean that we're going to die if you don't give him the baby?
Yeah,
yes.
People were like, dude, you just met this kid.
Yeah.
You can make another one.
You know me. I ask you questions all the time.
No. So then people get mad. You're selfish. You're a jerk. I'm going to freaking die because you want to keep your baby. Your baby's going to die too. And then all for naught.
But what's funny is now you see all the news headlines and the montage of news reports saying that the Fantastic Four should give up their baby. And one of these news reports says that Galactus cult has formed at the foot of Mount Everest.
Cult. That's an entire movie right there in and of itself.
So they must have T-shirts. Galactus was right in this reality.
Right? They wear purple hats. Yeah, that was fascinating.
Yeah.
But just like in Superman, one news article and everybody turns against them.
That's where this movie could have used the Jared Leto cameo at the Galactus cult right there with his bare feet and his robes.
I don't know if you. Did you get the trailer for Ares? Tron Ares?
No, I did not.
Oh, yeah, that.
Speaking of,
yes, exactly. Because I did see there was an article with Jeff Bridges, and he had some issues with Jared Leto's method acting. He had some choice words. Sue
talks the world down because she is a fantastic negotiator on her own.
You take a picture of the baby. You don't take the baby out into the angry mob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw what she did to Galactus a little bit later. She could have handled 1 million people there.
But would she have done it?
I don't know.
I don't know. So, yeah, this is an interesting where she's like, all right, just, we're family. And this means a lot to us. We're going to figure this out. And then lo and behold, Reed's like, son of a... Sue, you did it.
Yep.
Like, do I have to do... Again, does she have to do everything? Oh, yeah, what's for dinner? Oh, yeah, at least for Herbie's making dinner. Otherwise, she probably have to make dinner, too.
But, whenever this was also very cool because there's so much old tech in this movie, even though it's a future version of the 1960s.
Future retro tech,
It's still retro tech. So whenever Herbie has these tapes, which look like VHS tapes, reel to reel. So they pop out the home tape and put in the space tape. Maybe he's got a nanny tape as well.
What's Ben doing?
When you put in the nanny tape, he starts to talk like Fran Drescher.
Oh, no. I'm going to sacrifice him to Galactus. This is like when Mrs. Potato Head packs Mr. Potato Head's angry eyes. And a monkey Joe. Monkey Joe? Over the monkeys!
Reed talks everybody down. I will not sacrifice my child for the world, but I will not sacrifice my world for my child.
That's I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt there, Reed.
You should have seen people thinking to themselves, working that statement out. No.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's a positive thing, he said.
I don't know. Kill the baby.
So then, because of what Sue said, Reed gets it in his head that we're gonna move the Earth. We're gonna hide ourselves from Galactus. So then you're thinking, maybe this is how they get
correct.
to the...
Again, 2 or 3 times they throw these red herrings out here. You're like, this is all right. Because they're coming into the 616.
Yeah. So they build the same teleporters that teleported the egg a little earlier in the movie. They're building them all around the world. So they can literally...
This is where like the entire world just comes together and everybody's pulling resources and they all are just building these things. And there's got to be 50 of them all around the world. And this reminded me of the movie Contact when they were building the spaceship, the transporter thing for her to go, that the aliens had left them directions.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my problem with this entire plot. So the Earth exists in what they call a Goldilocks state because we are X amount of miles away from the sun. So we're not baking and we're not freezing. The moon keeps us in perfect orbit and in, gravitational pull of the moon. And it's like, if you just transport us to somewhere out in space, we're not going to be anywhere near a sun. We're going to freeze to death or we're going to spin out of control.
He says that they find that zone. That's where they're being transported to another solar system.
Maybe I missed that then because I'm like, wait a minute. You can't just zap us to some other place.
That's the setup. But it doesn't matter because they start to put them in motion, and suddenly the surfer appears again and starts to destroy them all over the world.
Because here's the thing, which is when they escape from the first time, they kind of let her get sucked into that black hole. And he's like, she'll be fighting for a month to get out of there because time slows down. This is where the interstellar thing comes into play. The closer you fly to a wormhole, the slower time goes. Right. Or whatever. So we're told that, she's stuck in this wormhole vortex and it'll take her a good month to get out.
That gives them time to come up with this plan.
Just in time for her to ruin your plans.
Yeah. But this is where Johnny comes back into it with his language, because he translates the messages that Reed was getting from deep space was the same language that she speaks, and it was a planet being devoured. They put 2 and 2 together that this must be her planet that was devoured. And they are correct.
Yeah.
So he appeals to her. He talks to her in her language. How do you know that? How do you know my language?
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm
And then
smart.
you get that little flashback that I did like the fact that Johnny had like the metabolism of the Flash. Like he was just always eating.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess maybe if you burn like that, you would need some calories. It was just a little throwaway thing that I noticed. I was like, that's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so he appeals to her. And then you get this flashback of her on her planet with her daughter, and you realize she sacrificed herself in order to save her planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just give us the baby. We'll leave you alone.
So you don't know yet whether or not he's convinced her. She goes off, I'm getting them. We're coming.
Right. Correct. Now she's all confounded.
But this is where Reed gets big idea number 2. Okay, we can't move the Earth. Let's move Galactus. So we only need this one bridge to do that.
The only one that was still that she didn't destroy was directly in New York.
Yep.
They didn't have to go to Tokyo. They didn't have to go to Guam. It's right there.
But the only thing is we can only keep it open for 37 seconds.
37 seconds. That was great. Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, Wile E. Coyote has built better traps than this. This is like a carrot with a box and a stick over it. This guy's like, I'm not stepping in there. And again, why did he need to come down? It's gorgeous to look at when he lands and he makes his way through Manhattan. And they were smart enough to evacuate all of Manhattan, mind you, to Subterranea. Did everybody just have the hots for Sue Storm?
Well, Dr. Doom did as well.
Yeah. Well. Listen, Vanessa Kirby, I thought she was fantastic in this. Yeah. Again, there we go. So there's no casualties beyond a couple buildings getting knocked over. And this is where it definitely feels like The Incredibles, where they are just fighting the giant robot in the middle of the city.
Yeah. He comes down in the river. He's overlooking the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. Makes his way right up Broadway. Yeah. They put the baby in this little carrier,
in this Baby Yoda carrier.
Yeah. Oh, you're good call on that. Yes. Yeah. And then they pull the dumbest. Oh, let me just blind him and we'll swap out this thing with an empty. At least put a fake baby in there.
But the reason that he comes right to it is because he can sense where the baby is.
Right. So at what point did he just turn it off? But yeah, he gets there and he's like, I'm not stepping in this thing. I see this a mile away. But this is where you get, they all have to kind of battle together, and Reed's making his way up there because he goes to the Baxter building and takes the baby. Did you catch that Herbie was singing the Fantastic Four theme song from the cartoon?
No, I did not.
That's what
catch
he
that.
was playing. I'm like, all right, that's deep cut. And you see that.
But the cartoon exists in this reality, so it makes sense.
Well, that's
that he would know it
too with the thing. And everyone keeps, hey, say the thing. Well, it's really only in the cartoons, but it's a payoff at the end. Here's the other thing, too. So they had to conserve energy when they were building this thing. So people are just like the entire cities are just blacking out. When it was hot that day, I want my air conditioner on. I may not live tomorrow. I want to be cool. I'm not dying in sweat. But this is where we see that Ben has to file down his hair, his beard. I could have done without this at all. It's just distracting. It meant nothing. And he still has the beard at the end. Oh my God, I guess that's a thing now.
How do you know when to stop?
When to stop.
Like, how do you not file away half your face? Because it's all rock.
Your jaw's gone.
Yeah.
I filed my jaw away. But we talked about this earlier. When he takes Reed Richards and just starts stretching him, it is horrific. It is like he's going to snap in half. Like this is a Slim Jim. He's just snapping this guy. Oh.
But again, when Galactus like zeroes in on Franklin and he grabs him in his huge paw, "You are my salvation," he says. Again, so what is he going to do with him?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what his plan was. And that is a storyline from other comics where eventually, at some point, Franklin Richards does become the new Galactus. But I think it's an alternate timeline. It's either Earth X or one of those other world stories.
So now this is when Sue like goes full on.
Well, this is hell hath no fury, like a mom scorn. Like mom is just like
so talk about like getting the adrenaline rush and picking up a car off your kid.
Yeah, you hear about this, right?
Yeah.
And she's just force field and she is just pushing him back. But this is after Reed actually takes Franklin out of his hands. It's all kind of happening simultaneously. And you can see about the only thing missing was the blood dripping down her nose. You know, she's going
from full 11.
Yeah, full 11 on her. Pushes him into the portal. And she's pushing him back. He's literally on his heels, sliding backwards.
Yep.
And tearing up the road. That's going to take a lot of money to fix.
Johnny like finally sees his calling, right? Because Galactus needs that one extra push to get him into the teleporter. So he's going to sacrifice himself to do it. He's going to go supernova and he's going to push him right into the portal. But Silver Surfer beats him to it.
You knew she had to come back. This is Crypto taking out Lex, by the way. Boom. And he because he actually comes back out. They think that that's it. We're done. He's in the window, and all of a sudden he starts crawling his way back out. Ralph Ineson.
Yep.
Innocent.
Ralph Innocent. I don't know.
He didn't really have a lot to do, but whatever he did was fantastic. It was like, man, he nailed it. I'm going to turn it into a drinking game. Every time I say fantastic, take a drink. Go back and re-listen to this now.
Silver Surfer and Galactus have been teleported to who knows where. But Sue has exerted so much energy that she is dead. She is literally dead on the pavement.
This is Tony Stark at the end of Avengers.
Yeah. So Reed is freaking out. He's giving her CPR.
I hate cinematic CPR. You can stretch. You can put a little more effort into that.
Panicking, he's like, "Don't leave us. I can smell that the baby needs to be changed. Don't leave us.
I don't want to change his baby." Galactic doo-doo over here. This kid's got some issues.
I don't know if he knew what he was doing or not, but he realizes that she's dead. He puts Franklin on her.
Yeah, smell mommy one more time. One last time. This is like a dead puppy.
And Franklin does his cosmic stuff and brings her back.
So I don't know if you caught this, but they mentioned that it was... I keep using like power cosmic or cosmic power or whatever. They refer to it as celestial power.
Oh, do they? Did they actually say that?
It does come back at one point. Celestial powers. I think Galactus mentions it. But when she's awoken, she's got the same starry eyes, the purple sparkle, just like Star-Lord did when he met his dad, and his dad imbued him with the celestial ego. So obviously Galactus is like, So this is almost like Jean Grey.
Is Galactus celestial?
I don't know if they mentioned him as a celestial or that he was just like this ancient being separate.
I don't know.
But yeah, to me, that is a direct nod to Star-Lord getting imbued with those powers. So there's a scene where two guys get up off their desk and look out the window, and on the wall are comic book artwork, and it's supposed to be Jack Kirby and Stan Lee.
Oh no,
I did not catch that in the course of the movie itself, but I've seen a screen grab.
Okay. Well, yeah. Why wouldn't the comics exist in the?
Yeah, sure. Reality? Well, we saw that there's a cartoon. Why wouldn't there be a comic?
Yeah,
just like in Old Man Logan, Wolverine. Just stories, kid.
But it's a happy ending, so the movie ends with a great joke because they're supposed to go on the Ted Gilbert show, which is the same guy that introduced the montage at the beginning. So there's supposed to be an exclusive interview with the Fantastic Four after they've defeated Galactus, and they jet. They bounce from the show in the green room. They don't want to do it. So they're trying to get in their car, and they cannot get the car seat fastened, which is, if anybody has any experience with trying to put in a car seat the right way, it is extremely frustrating. And it takes the four of them to actually do it.
Yeah. Sue's just like, what is wrong with you morons?
Yeah.
So as smart as they are, they still can't figure this out.
They can't put the car seat in.
Yes.
So movie ends.
And again, that to me was like a little nod to the Incredibles as well. All the wristbands go off like Power Rangers. You got the 4 little panels. And they did that a couple times, which I like. The comic panels that kind of in between scenes or if things moved, which, I mentioned numerous times, Ang Lee's Incredible Hulk did. To the point where it was a little obnoxious, but at least an homage back to some of the comic books.
Yeah.
But you're right. They're off to save the world again.
But I just want to give a shout out where it's due to, we've mentioned him already today, Michael Giacchino.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
I was complaining a few episodes ago about just there not being recognizable themes anymore. Yeah. And that is not the case here. He's got a dun, 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 and just like the Superman theme, where it's the same number of syllables, it sounds like you're singing Fantastic Four when you're listening to it.
Fantastic Four.
Just like Superman. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
There are times when you don't really pay attention to it, and then other times you're like, wow, it's like in your face. Like, this is great. So a great score that I would actually want to listen to on its own. If you sat through the end credits, that you also in the soundtrack section, Alan Silvestri has an end credit with the title Doom. So Dr. Doom must have his own theme that shows up in the end credit. Oh, I wasn't. Yeah, I didn't pick up on it, but I saw it in the credits. So was that Robert Downey Jr. in costume? So that end credit scene. So you sit through the credits, and we get 4 years later. So now Franklin is what, 5? Yeah. There's a joke where he wants to read a book, and his mom pulls up Origin of Species, Charles Darwin. So he's smart. She's like, how about we do something a little more age appropriate? She leaves the room, and then all of a sudden she hears a noise. She turns back around, and there's a guy with a green cape. Talk about comics accurate. Completely. You don't see his face. You don't see his face, but everything else. You see the metal mask in his hand, and Franklin's touching his face. Yeah. So what the F? And Sue's just like, can I help you? What is she going to say? Yeah, how'd you get in here? Yeah. And why is my son touching your face? But we assume that she would know who he is because his country exists, so he would exist. Correct. In this reality. Yeah. But is he from this timeline? I don't know. If they follow the Secret Wars, the Emperor Doom storyline, which I think Jonathan Hickman, it's like mid-2000s storyline. I think they're not leaning into the original Secret Wars from back in the 80s. Oh, I would love it if they did. Well, yeah, then you got to bring in Spider-Man and the Beyonder, Venom, and the Beyonder. Oh, that guy shows up in that zoot suit with the Michael Jackson hair. Yeah, yeah, he get laughed right out of the theater. Yeah, that was definitely a product of its time. So we don't know. Teasing us. So we're not going to see these characters again until Avengers Doomsday. And I wish that there was at least one more of these movies under our belt before they get introduced. Because you don't even know at this point how they came to the end of Thunderbolts. So here's my takeaway from that, which is if you watch this movie, that pogo plane, that Excelsior, has 3 prongs. The one that shows up at the end of Thunderbolts, and you have to go back and you want to watch Screen Crush and some of these others that break it down, it's a different ship. The 4 is different, and it has 4 prongs.
So is this the same Fantastic Four then?
It may be Josh Trank's Fantastic Four. You know what I forgot to mention? So we mentioned it. We talked about this at the end of last episode, which was that Doomed documentary on Amazon
Yes,
Prime
which I watched.
Roger Corman,
which I did
all four
watch.
of those actors have cameos in this movie. Alex Hyde White and Rebecca Staub are newscasters, and Jay Underwood and Michael Bailey Smith show up in the power plants.
And I did notice that they were at the premiere all together.
I know. That's why I'm like, I'm wondering if they're gonna multiverse this and bring these in, or they're going to be like a made-for-TV movie that shows. No, they just gave them jobs.
So when you mentioned that Doomed, I found it on Amazon and I watched it, and it was fascinating. It really, the scenes that they showed did look terrible. There's no mistaking that.
But again, like, you know, we've gone on record. It's like nobody's gone out of their way to make a bad movie, but apparently they did.
Just to make it to secure the rights.
To retain the rights. But it does look, based on this, that Avi Arad killed this. That was, you know, coming out of Marvel was in chapter 11. They were getting their crap back together. He was X-Men 97 was in full swing. And they just buried it.
Yeah.
Just like this Wile E. Coyote movie versus Acme, which now apparently is getting a theatrical release.
But the heartbreaking thing is, if you watch the documentary, nobody making it, the actors, had any idea that they were doing anything but making the best movie that they could that would be released.
Right. And so, it's a slap to the face to them that this was all going on behind their back. And at one point, someone even said, everyone involved in this movie made money except for us who made it. But what was fantastic was the fact that they talk about the idea that all of a sudden the bootlegs started showing up at Comic-Cons, and that now all of a sudden people recognize them and they knew them. And so people are watching this movie that was never meant to be seen. So it's a nice little arc that they were like, yeah, people, I think, appreciate it. If it was just released in a theater, people would be like, oh, this crap, and crap all over it. But because of the lore of what happened and why this is a movie you're never going to see. Well, guess what? Somebody duped it, and those VHS tapes, it's a copy of a copy of a copy, and it does look bad. Even the stuff that they were showing in here was not. It
may look even worse if they cleaned it up. Who knows?
It may. How about you star in a Fantastic Four movie that actually makes sense in the theater? So I think Shackman spot on with this. I think every decision that he made was the right call. I did see Shackman he's tied to it must be season 2 of Monarch, Legacy of Monsters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to have to watch that all over again. I'm going to have to watch Peacemaker all over again, season 1.
I would like to go back and rewatch that Monarch. We talked about some of the Easter eggs in the background, and there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, you got like King Laundry and I don't know, Stanley Steamers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did you see that one of the movie marquees was Attack of the Fungi? I was like, is that Last of Us? Is that a Last of Us? No,
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. But there's also this big poster that shows up multiple times throughout the city scenes called Sub-Zero Intel.
I did notice that. That's like a movie title that's playing there.
But I don't know what it was. I don't know what it's in reference to, if it was an inside joke. But you see it multiple times in different places. So I don't know. There was that joke with, they had the copper tone tan with Johnny, the billboard that lit up on fire as the dog's pulling his underwear off.
Maybe some of these things will be answered in the commentary. Who knows?
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe we'll never learn.
But how many Galactus popcorn buckets would we give to the Fantastic Four?
My Regal did not have any. I wanted to just see one in person. They did not. They had the Fantastic car.
I didn't see anything in my Regal.
Yeah, they had the Fantastic car. I don't know. I just talking about it right now, I've already gone up a quarter of a bucket.
Yeah.
Is it too much at this point to say 4.5?
I would give it 4. I would say 4.
4.25. I think it could have had a little more levity to it, but every one of these characters is spot on. Like I said, my biggest concern was Pedro Pascal, and boy, within the first 10 minutes, just alleviated any of my concerns.
I think it just had the right balance between levity and science factualness and gravitas, because I think that, like we were saying,
you're right.
that
Is a
John
good word,
Byrne run of Fantastic Four is way up there in my estimation as one of the best runs I've ever experienced.
Right. We were at the perfect age to come in. That was when I first started reading Fantastic Four.
And that took itself very seriously. So I think this movie does a good job of emulating that flavor of Fantastic Four that I'm used to.
Yeah, we mentioned at the top of the show about, the art direction and the set design, and this world building that they did is just unlike anything we've seen. You haven't really seen anything like this since Black Panther. We're introduced to Wakanda. That is so different than whatever else the world that these superheroes live in. And one of the influences is Sid Mead, who I'm not sure anybody's familiar. So he was an industrial designer in like the 50s and 60s. He worked a lot with like these steel companies, and he would do a lot of industrial illustrations and like these hyper space, future cities. But he's worked. He did Star Trek: The Motion Picture, Blade Runner, Tron, Alien, and so you Google his name, and you see a lot of the influences that they had here. Like I said, it's the Jetsons. Yeah. It's this ideal existence of what people thought the future was going to be like, at the 1930s World Fair.
And even if this movie was terrible, which it is not, you could get lost in the scenery, in the background.
Yeah. I saw people who were complaining about the suits again, because they're not like the black spandex X-Men from 2000.
They look warm and cozy. I'll
a little too hot, I think. They look very
maybe the movie should have come out in winter. Maybe that we would have been more accepting of them then.
Another nice touch. So the suits had like this pattern, this vertical pattern on it, and so whenever he became the Torch, the flames kind of kept that pattern, which is exactly the way he used to be drawn whenever he was in flames.
Yeah, with lines going down.
So little subtle things like that they just go out of the way. There was a scene where he's eating out of the cereal box, and there's like a pinup from Jack Kirby on the back, because you got the Human Torch little toy that had his little catchphrase. Like I said, everyone gets their own little storyline.
Every single one of these four actors is fantastic. And again, drink, because
there you go.
They're great. They nail their roles.
Yeah. Like I said, you can't help. And maybe it's just me, because I don't think anyone else has said this on any of the review shows I've looked at, that it just, because of the source material, it's a live action Incredibles, and it has the same heart. It has the family aspect and I think that's what nails it. There's the action sequences they're not Avenger level fight sequences. There's 4 of them.
No. And tellingly, Reed tells Ben, once we're up there, when they're going to Galactus, if there's something you can punch, by all means, punch it. But that's not the solution to this problem. And it never really was in the comics. It was always Reed's brain that got them out of whatever issue that they were in. Yeah. You need Ben to knock down a door every once in a while, but
correct. Yeah, if we're pushing into phase 6 with this, I'm on board.
Yeah.
We talk about this where, Marvel brings in these directors that have a very specific look and feel and vision, and then somehow get cold feet and then pull these guys, Edgar Wright looking at you with Ant-Man. You hired these guys for a reason. Let them do their thing.
I even got over the fact that the Thing was the same height as the others, because in the comics, he's much bigger, closer to a Hulk height. You say what you will about the Josh Trank one. They actually did that in the Josh Trank one. Yeah. So I was a little bit skeptical when I was seeing set photos, but I didn't even think of it watching the movie.
Yeah. No, I give Jackman a lot of credit. I mean, he pulled this off. This is your theatrical debut.
Yeah.
Hang your hat on this, my son. Yeah. The only thing I wish is that we would get at least one more of these before they start hanging out with Captain America and the rest of the ilk. How do you go back to this world once you realize that you get I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you do a Fantastic Four 2 after this in this world after they hang out with Spider-Man?
Yeah. Well, you got the same issue with Deadpool. Where do you go now with Deadpool?
Yeah.
Unless you're jumping realities again.
Yeah. No, I guess we'll have to find out. I'm on board.
So I would say that we both heartily recommend it. So if you've actually listened to our episode and you're not sold already and you haven't seen this thing, go see it. Go out there.
When people first asked me when I saw it Thursday, of course, everyone was like, well, what'd you think? What'd you think? And my initial reaction was I had more fun watching Superman. But sitting here talking about this, there's so much to like. And it makes me want to see it again.
I would give this the slight edge over Superman.
Yeah.
I would just a slight, not taking anything away from Superman.
Not a single person wearing their underwear on the outside. So there you go. That is our take.
Fantastic Four. So let's go to the concession stand.
Okay. Fantastic.
Old timey 60s concession stand.
Going deep back
this
to
week.
The 60s.
This is a candy that would have been, well, hopefully it is in Earth 828's reality. I wouldn't see why it wouldn't be. But the reason I chose this, not only was it around in the 60s, but the name of this candy is the name of a street which in the comics would be about a block away from the Baxter Building. Fifth Avenue.
Fifth Avenue. Okay.
Because in the comics, the Baxter Building is located at Madison Avenue and East 42nd Street. I'd love to know what is actually there in reality. We know it's not the Baxter Building because that's a fictional location.
I do remember in 1985, we had an exchange program with the kids from the Bronx, and it was the first time I'd ever been to Manhattan. And there was a building that I was like, that's the Baxter Building. I took a picture of it with my little disposable disc camera. I don't think it was, but it looked like it. Because in the comics, it's just a big square block.
Yeah, it's almost like one of the World Trade Center, the original World Trade Center towers, but with a larger block on the top of it.
Right, yeah.
But yes, the Fifth Avenue, introduced in 1936. Now, this is one of those rare candies. It still exists today, the Fifth Avenue, but you cannot get it in your local grocery store. You've got to go to your Five Below or one of those that carries a really intense variety of candies. And because of this, I've never actually experienced a Fifth Avenue bar, so I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
So you bought one and ate it?
So I had to buy it to sample it, right?
All right, fair enough.
And to my dismay...
Oh, no.
To my dismay...
Like
no, it is almost exactly like a Butterfinger.
Oh, no.
I hate Butterfingers. I hate Butterfingers.
Crispy. I hate Butterfingers. I guess, yes, if you listen to the show for more than one episode, Jim goes out of his way to besmirch Butterfingers.
So
I don't know what Butterfinger did to you. But.
So looking at the package, because it's broken in half, right? So you do get an idea of what you're into. But I'm thinking, well, maybe it's like soft nougaty peanut butter.
No.
So I bite into it, and then suddenly my mouth is fused shut, just like it is when I eat a Butterfinger. I've got to dig because, I keep my nails short, so I can't even get this
you
stuff.
Gotta pick. This is why you got to carry a little toothpick with you at all times.
So, all right, but we'll get there. We'll get to my experience eating it. Fifth Avenue, introduced in 1936. Peanut butter crunch layers in chocolate, which is the same thing as a Butterfinger. So Fifth Avenue is like a late player to this. So 1917, the Clark bar was introduced, which is very similar.
Yep.
1923, the Butterfinger was introduced, which is similar to the Clark bar. And now in 1936, the Fifth Avenue was introduced. Now, when it was released, it stood out from the Butterfinger and the Clark bar because it had almonds on the top of it. Over time, the almonds have been removed. I think in the 90s they were removed. So now it's just, I think we could describe the Fifth Avenue as a more chocolatey version of the Butterfinger. Looking back on my experience eating the Fifth Avenue, it's more palatable than eating a Butterfinger because there's more chocolate. Okay. So it's giving you a little bit more softness to get that gruel out of your teeth as you're crunching down on it. But in 1936, it was actually invented by the Luden's Company, who make the cough drops.
Oh, the cough drops, yeah.
The Fifth Avenue name was named after a street not in New York City.
What?
But in Reading, Pennsylvania, where Luden was. So,
is that also where the railroad came from?
Yeah, where when you play Monopoly, take a ride on the Reading. So there you go. I used to pronounce it Reading when I was playing Monopoly.
I think we all did,
yeah. But yeah, the almonds were removed in the 1990s to save money. But for years, decades, from the 1930s to the 1990s, everybody knew the Fifth Avenue as having almonds on it. So that, I think, would have really set it apart, eating it. But now it's just kind of a more chocolatey Butterfinger. Hershey purchased Luden's in 1986, so now Hershey produces the Fifth Avenue. Again, it is not a widely available candy. You have to seek it out. It wasn't terrible eating it, but
yeah, but if it's going to compare you to your most hated candy, then
no, I would kind of leave it alone from this point on.
One and done. That's it.
Yeah.
You took one for the team.
They're no longer made in Reading, Pennsylvania. I don't know if they ever were, but that's where the Luden's headquarters was. They are now made by Hershey in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Some interesting facts about the Fifth Avenue. A favorite of H. Clay Earls, who was the founder of the Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. He loved the Fifth Avenue bar, and when I say that he loved it, I'm talking about the almond variety of it. He loved it so much, this was the only candy sold at the concession stand at his speedway. He forced this upon everyone else that came to watch the races.
You're eating this.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like this.
It was only until he died in 1999.
they immediately said, all right,
they immediately opened it up to other candies.
You want some liquor?
Fifth Avenue bar has been in pop culture. It was featured in the movie Stargate. I haven't seen that in so long. I don't know where exactly they feature it.
Oh, I think that James Spader gives it to the girl. It has been a while. Oh, we need to cover that.
No. Also on the famous Seinfeld episode in the auto dealership when George is trying to get the Twix bar out of the
and he gets the Fifth Avenue.
Well, he mentions the Fifth Avenue because I guess it was in the machine along with the Twix bar. So yeah, so I ate the thing a couple of days ago. It took me a while to get it out of my teeth. It tasted nice. There was a much more chocolate than I remember there being in a Butterfinger. So if I had to eat one, I would pick the Fifth Avenue. But again, it's not something that I would go for normally.
So say I went to like Dairy Queen, I got a Blizzard, and I sprinkled Fifth Avenue Crunches. Would that be a little more palatable?
It'd still be stuck in your teeth unless you swallowed them whole. That's the only way to get around it, right? Then it's going to be scratching your esophagus and your insides.
On your way down. Yeah. The hell did you eat, son?
Yeah. There's a fan base for candies like this because not only do we have
any candy,
not only do we have Fifth Avenue Butterfinger Clark bar, you've also got your Score bars, you've got your Heath bars. Terrible for your teeth.
Heath just doesn't sound appetizing at all. Listen, there's people out there that like circus peanuts, so
yeah,
no,
they still make those. They still make those.
Yeah, mass quantities.
But yeah. There's not a lot of history behind it. That's pretty much all I have. But yes, Fifth Avenue.
I like the tie-in with the Fifth Avenue and Baxter Building.
Exactly.
Cool.
All right. So what do we have now?
Oh, we're going to the summer of 1979. We just came out in 1965.
1 decade later.
Yeah.
In our reality.
I was going to say how much has changed. Super 8, which is a reference to a handheld movie camera.
Yes.
Populated by a popular two cinemaphiles back in the day. Little home movies.
Yeah.
2011, this movie came out. I can't believe it's this old.
Yeah, and I haven't seen this since I saw it in the theater, so it was very
Really?
nice to sit down and
My
watch
son
it
was very
again.
excited to see this because we have seen it. I have it on Blu-ray, and we sat and watched it the other night.
Yep, and this is a J.J. Abrams directed film,
Yeah,
produced by Steven Spielberg, and as you mentioned last week, this is pretty much a love letter to Steven
yeah,
Spielberg's movies.
yeah, yeah. There's a little on the nose some of this stuff, but yeah, there's little close encounter references or nods. Obviously, E.T. Yeah, parents are a problem.
We know right away that this is a Spielberg-Abrams co-feature because you get both the Amblin
Amblin.
logos and the
Yeah.
Bad Robot logo.
Boy, I can't see Bad Robot without immediately thinking Lost.
I think of Cloverfield whenever I see it now.
Which this monster looks very close to.
It does. Facially, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't.
Maybe they're related.
I was gonna say they didn't drift too far apart from this.
Maybe this.
Yeah,
maybe
this
this
ET's
is.
got some issues. I don't know what his thinking was, but
There's some plot holes going on with this
good.
ET as well.
Big plot holes. But it's not about the plot. It's about the lens flares.
The lens. Oh, it's all. Even on the poster, there's a lens flare.
JJ, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like I said, you want to get inundated with lens flares? Just watch that 2009 Star Trek.
But as you said, this is like the Goonies, where it's an ensemble cast of 5 kids. Is it 5 or is there more?
There is 5.
Yeah.
Well, there's 4 boys and then the girl gets introduced,
Yeah.
Alice.
So they're all, kind of geeky friends.
I don't know, maybe
and
there's 6 altogether. I don't know.
But they're geeky friends. They get together to film movies.
Yeah.
And one of them in particular is the director, the big, the
Charles.
stocky kid.
Yeah, Charles.
Charles, played by Riley Griffiths.
Yeah.
Only a couple of these kids have really. They all still act, but only a couple of them have, been in prominent roles.
Yeah, this kid, Carrie, the weird kid with the braces and the long hair. I feel like I've seen him in other stuff, but his name is Ryan Lee, is the actor. I couldn't tell you what he was in.
Now, if they don't cast this guy, this movie was filmed in 2011. So what is he in his late 20s now? If they don't cast him as Robin Gibb in the Bee Gees movie, they are doing themselves a disservice. You don't need to put in fake teeth or anything. Just put headphones on this kid and let him touch one side of his headphones as he's singing into a microphone.
There you go. But
I started a joke.
But as you mentioned, Ella Fanning is also in this.
Elle Fanning, who's now all over the place. You can't see anything without her in it these days.
Yeah. So this had to have been pretty early in her career.
I watched some of the special features on the Blu-ray.
Okay.
She was only 12 years old when they filmed
She kills it in this movie, by the way. She mesmerizes every one of these boys, and she holds your attention because there's a couple scenes where you're just like their mouth is open and you're like right there with them.
Now, she only, she's playing 14, but because she was so tall, she looks much more mature than she is actually in this movie.
Well, any girl up against a bunch of prepubescent boys is going to look more mature. So, but we also get Kyle Chandler, who probably was the biggest name. It was right around Friday Night Lights around this time.
Yeah. And he was also in that show, and I can't remember the name of it, where he would get the newspaper every day, and it would be tomorrow's newspaper.
Yes. I remember that show, but I don't remember him being the character.
He's the guy. Yeah,
Oh,
he was
okay.
the guy from it.
I don't
So
think I've
he
ever
would
seen
see
it.
something bad happening in the newspaper for tomorrow, and he would have to then try to stop it from happening.
Who's printing these newspapers?
I don't know.
Isn't this kind of like Quantum Leap?
It's kind of like Quiet Place. Who's printing the newspaper about with all the monsters on the cover when they destroyed
Who's
everything
taking these
immediately?
pictures? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other notable actor of the kids in this is Louis Gabriel Basso, who plays, when you're watching the kids movie, he's like the lead detective in the case.
Yep.
He actually is the lead actor in The Night Agent, which is the Netflix show. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Tom Hiddleston?
No, that's something else.
Oh, okay.
The Night Agent is on Netflix, and he's the lead. And it's a great show. Didn't put that together until afterwards.
Okay, I did not. Yeah, for the most part, I didn't know who any of these kids were. But yeah,
This movie depends on them because it revolves around them.
yes, yeah, and I think they do. They play off each other very well. Not Goonies level of everyone's got a quirk, but yeah, they propel this movie forward because all they're trying to do is make this. Well, so actually, it's a little somber, the opening, because you get this flashback or this, I don't know, whatever. There's a steel mill, and you just see a sign that says, 784 days since last accident. This is like straight out of The Simpsons as Homer takes home a nuclear rod, and all of a sudden you see the sign come down, and then you cut. Was it 4 months later? No, it wasn't even 4 months later.
No, because the accident was the lead kid's mother who was killed at the steel mill.
He's sitting outside. Everyone's inside grieving. And you find out that his mother was crushed by a steel beam. You don't really know what's going on. But you
do see somebody show up at the funeral who gets kicked out because the dad kicks him out.
He gets arrested.
Yeah.
He arrests him, puts him in handcuffs, and takes him away.
So and what was the charges? Showing up at a funeral?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just showing just want to show my respects.
Yeah.
So so you get that, and then it cuts to 4 months.
So
later.
You're foreshadowing with this kid. We know that he's got some issues, right? So he is not Mr. Popular. So what he likes to do is with his friends make home movies, which is just what Abrams used to do when he was a kid, and what Spielberg used to do.
Did you read that Abrams knows Spielberg because when Abrams was a kid, Spielberg hired him to convert his Super 8 tapes over to, I think, VHS.
Yes, because Spielberg read about these kids that were making their own movies.
So you talked about Cloverfield. Yeah. So it was as teenagers, J.J. Abrams and his friend Matt Reeves were hired by Steven Spielberg to restore some of his Super 8 home movies. So that's pretty wild. And
this is only because Spielberg didn't meet them at the time. He just read a newspaper article about them. So he said, if they make their own Super 8 movies, they'll know what to do with mine.
Yeah. You know what the saddest part of all my research on this is that all of this stuff that's shot by the kids was shot in 16 millimeter. It was not shot in Super 8. They needed the resolution to then dumb it down to make it look like it was Super 8.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So it's a fake out. I'm not watching Super 8 at all. It's a lame 16 millimeter. They should rename this movie.
They're trying to make a zombie movie in the midst of everything else that happens. Now, I'm going to be that guy again.
Okay.
This movie takes place in 1979.
Yep.
They take pains to say that this is taking place in early 1979 because there's a news story about 3 Mile Island on the TV.
I know. Yeah. Wasn't that 80? No, 79?
That was 79. It was like March 79.
Okay.
So we now know this is supposed to be taking place in March 79, but then we meet Charles, who in his room has a poster of Dawn of the Dead, which didn't come out until 2 months later. So
maybe he knew somebody in the production department.
Maybe he did, but still he wouldn't have seen the movie because he wouldn't have been able to get in because it was NC-17 or X at the time.
Well, you weren't allowed to see Alien, but you probably had Alien.
But also,
paraphernalia.
Dawn of the Dead probably wouldn't be playing in anywhere but like 42nd Street at the time it was released. So all these things are going through my mind, and I'm not thinking of the story. I'm out of it.
So there's a couple musical cues in here. Did you catch anything that was out of place as well? Because we do
My Sharona.
Down.
My Sharona is later in 1979. It wasn't.
It is.
Yeah.
I was going to put it at 78.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're playing fast and loose.
They are.
With some of this stuff. For all I know, Super 8s didn't even exist in 1979.
Most people wouldn't care about this, but I do.
No, but when you're actually sitting and talking about it and you want to dissect it.
If you live through this period, you know something is off because I was aware of Dawn of the Dead, but I never saw it.
Right.
I certainly wasn't able to get a poster of it.
So So you would think that would be his influence why he's making a zombie movie.
Yeah, but
really,
then
zombies
I would think
didn't really exist movie-wise until that came out.
no, they
Night of the
existed
Living Dead?
because of Night of the Living Dead. So if
Okay.
I was making this movie, I would give him a poster of Night of the Living Dead,
Yeah.
which would make sense.
Yeah, he did have a Halloween poster as well, which came out in '78.
Yeah, so that's
right.
fine. That's fine.
And they were watching Match Game. And I do remember Match Game '78 with Gene Rayburn. So
yeah,
I still watch that on the Game Show Network, by the way.
So if all they had done was not include that 3 Mile Island,
yeah,
I would have accepted everything that was being told to me in the movie. But no, they put it in a certain time and place, which.
So did this take place in Pennsylvania? Because the town is called Lillian, but there was no, I mean, I guess it's in Pennsylvania. It's a steel mill town.
It's Ohio.
Okay, because I never, and I didn't even think to look at the license plate, but sometimes that doesn't always transfer. Sometimes
so a state over, right? A state over.
Yep.
But yeah, they're making a zombie movie called The Case with their friends. And there's a scene early on. The director is Charles, and Joe is over his house all the time because he can't deal with his father one-on-one very well. And, it's just like a Spielberg family dinner and Close Encounters. Everybody's talking at the same time. It's just that kind of atmosphere that you're given right up front. So it is very Spielbergian from the get-go.
Yeah, there's a lot of nods to Spielberg in this.
And of course, Dad does not approve. Joe's dad does not approve him hanging out with these geeks and phoebes, as the father in Stand By Me would say. He wants to send him away. Where was he sending him? To like a military school or something?
In Alaska, where Dad was being sent.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kid wants none of it.
Yeah.
My mom dies, and now you're going to send me off?
So he finds out this news that he's being sent away, and that night they're set to film a scene incognito because they have to steal somebody's car in order to do it. So
yeah, this is like guerrilla warfare.
This is how the girl comes into it, Alice, who is taking her dad's Mustang, which is a sweet car, by the way.
Yeah, you see it in the opening sequence, and you realize that is the dad that gets shuffled off the prison there when he shows up at the wake.
Not that they need the car in the movie because they weren't filming any scenes with the car.
No, they just needed to get to a location. They needed to get to the train station.
Yep.
So, but immediately Joe is like, "You talk to Alice? Alice?" Like everyone's like enamored with this girl.
Yeah. So
she's like the local heartthrob or whatever, the mystery girl.
Yeah, but her dad is the guy that got kicked out of the funeral.
Yep.
She nails her lines. They set up their cameras on at the train station on the platform, and everybody is just absolutely in awe of her reading because everybody else is terrible.
Right. And she's was that okay? And they're like, pick my jaw off the floor. Yeah, she's like on the verge of tears. Yeah. No, it was like, wow. It's like, all right, this girl's got some acting chops here.
I don't even know if they were filming that. They've actually put the film in the camera after she gives that.
Yes, correct.
Amazing
they were
reading.
running through the lines first, and then before they went to go film, all of a sudden the train shows up.
Yep,
so now they have to scream over the train as it's racing by.
And unfortunately, the train crashes. Thankfully, after they do the scene, the train is almost clear of the platform, and suddenly a pickup truck from nowhere.
Yeah, Joseph watches this all unfold because the pickup truck comes racing down the road and then jumps onto the tracks head first, going right at the train.
Yep.
So he knows it's coming. He yells, and boy, this is spectacular. And Abrams did say that he wanted this to be larger than life because this is how the kids would have explained it to somebody afterwards. This is how they would have remembered it, but it's unbelievable. I mean, you've just got cars flying through the air, explosions left and right. They're running, camera drops to the ground. It's still filming. Now,
there's one inconsistency. It looks like their car is destroyed at one point.
Yes. Yeah. There's literally stuff sticking out of the back tire. And yet
they just drive away and it's fine.
You're right. That is a production issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continuity. I don't know. Maybe they decide, well, how are we going to get these kids? We just destroyed that car.
Yeah.
So we'll just, it survived. Okay.
Then take the scene out that shows the car destroyed.
Right.
That's, you know.
But what's even more unbelievable is that this pickup truck that smashes into this train head on is only slightly damaged.
And the guy's still alive.
The guy's still alive. He would have been obliterated because this train was flying. No, he's still alive. He's alive enough and bloodied enough to just let off some exposition. And I know him. He's Dr. Woodward. He's a teacher.
Now, how this guy has time to be a teacher as well as doing the extracurricular stuff that he's shown to do later.
You find out later that he's got a side job.
Yeah. But not only does the train crash, but as everybody's kind of working out, if all the kids are trying to figure out if everybody's still alive or not.
Well, you would also assume that there would be people on the train.
Yeah.
At least an engineer. No one cares about that. You never hear if there were survivors.
No. One of the doors blows out and something comes out of the train.
Well, do we see that right then, or do we see that later when they find the video?
We find the video.
Get their film.
You do see the door blow out, but you don't see what comes out.
You don't see what comes out.
No.
Yeah. But again, this whole sequence, and you want to talk about the lens flares and the camera angles. I mean, there's a lot going on here, and it is spectacular. And when I saw this in the theater, it was so overwhelming. Again, I think he said that he went above and beyond to make it as hyperbolic as possible.
And not only does the train crash, this thing comes out, but also these cubes are all over the place.
Yeah, we got these little alien Rubik's cubes,
which again wasn't introduced internationally until 1980. So they jumped the gun on the.
So
Rubik's
what if
cube
they? So hold on. Well, what if these were the influence for the Rubik's cubes? So we saw these and said, we can make a game out of this.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, this guy tells these kids, they'll kill you. Don't speak of this.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. The giant train that just crashed, and now we're all covered in dirt. We got to go home.
Yep. And he pulls a gun on him.
What's up with these adults pulling guns on kids?
And he's a teacher. Do not speak of this or you and your parents will die. So they escape in the car just as the army shows up.
Nellick is the commander
who played Scully's brother on the X-Files.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I've been watching X-Files.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
But at home, the train wreck is on the news.
It's everywhere. There are just train cars. There had to have been 100 cars on this train.
And the Rubik's Cubes are everywhere as well. So they're picking them all up and putting them in boxes. And now it's the sheriff that is the first one that's taken. He goes to the gas station that night. All the dogs run past him because the dogs vamoose from the town.
Yeah, later on, we see that there's all the missing dogs.
Yeah.
There's signs everywhere. I'm like, is this thing eating the dogs? No, they're running. They're running away.
So the monster destroys at the gas station in the middle of the night. The monster destroys the sheriff's squad car, takes the sheriff, and takes the kid that's in the gas station that's behind the counter.
Yeah, and the kid's wearing a Walkman, and apparently these are brand new because the sheriff actually says that's all we need. Kids walking around with their own stereos.
Yeah.
And so he's oblivious. He doesn't hear anything that's going on. This guy getting eaten or taken by the creature, the car getting destroyed. But there was a rack of comic books in there, but I couldn't make out any of the covers. But this is like a Predator / T-Rex sound that you hear from this thing.
The movie alternates now between these kids making their own movie and scenes of other people being taken by the monster. Like we have the Central Hudson guy on his cherry picker who
he gets thrown around.
Yeah. The townspeople are getting very scared. This is where we've got some Close Encounters vibes coming into this as the government are taking over the town.
I did appreciate the fact that these kids were using the word mint a lot because I picked that up when I went to college in 85.
Oh, really? I
don't think I heard kids in 1979 use it. But yeah, during this, like there's some aerial shots of the town that are very E.T. reminiscent. Even like someone, like you said, that the guy on the cherry picker, to me was very Close Encounters-ish.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and they want to blame the Soviets for all of this. They people are disappearing. Someone's eating them.
Now, the teacher at one point, like the teacher is in custody, so he's still alive and he's
Still alive?
taken prisoner. So, and they're asking him where the monster is. And he says he won't tell them specifically, but they know he knows because there's a connection between the teacher and the monster. I am in him and he is in me.
Yeah, which never really pays off.
No.
No. What? What are you talking about? What'd you do to this alien? Did you have relations with him?
And in the meantime, Alice is getting closer to Joe as they realize their family history together.
When she's in the zombie makeup and she kisses him on the neck.
Yes, and that's like a mesmerizing scene because he is completely fallen in love with her.
This girl is just she's the true monster, man. She's playing these boys left and right.
Because she sneaks into his room one night, and if she finds out that it's her dad that was there at the steel mill.
Yeah, this is an interesting reveal. You find out that the dad,
it wasn't his fault, really. He didn't.
Well, no, he called out sick because he called out because he was drunk, and he missed his shift.
But he didn't drop the steel on her or anything like that.
No, but it could have. But it's one of these.
He was probably doing her a favor. She's picking up overtime, right?
She did what she was. She was working overtime. Yeah.
Yeah.
She took the brunt of this, and so he even says later to the sheriff, he's like, "I never meant to hurt anybody." It's like, well, she's dead, dude. I don't have to tell you. So thanks, you drunk.
But as the two kids. She's in his room and they're revealing that, their parents are tied together in this way. The Rubik's Cube suddenly flies off, the one that Joe kept, flies off his desk through the wall of the house.
Yeah, that's some power right there.
And gets stuck to the water tower? Why?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Trying to make its way into the water tower. And you find out later that all this stuff is being drawn to the water tower.
Why? The monster isn't living in the water tower,
but I
think
that's where he was trying to construct his ship. He needed something above ground. I don't know. I'm speculating.
But why couldn't he do that before? Because you see,
because it sounds like they had these little cubes all locked up, and only when they were released, I don't know. Because you do find out that he's been here since like 1948, and he's been trying to reconstruct.
But if this thing is as big as it is, I wouldn't think that they could keep it anywhere that it didn't want to be.
Right.
Why didn't it bust through the train before it crashed?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you do get some of that little bit of a backstory with the doctor, and they find the videos in the school, the films, but it doesn't really make sense. Imagine this guy. He goes, he's on a mission to Earth. He gets captured. He's been here since 1958. And then he finally makes it home, and his wife's like, "Where the hell have you been?" Oh, these stupid Earthlings kept me tight. Yeah, okay.
But he brought home dinner. He's like, here's the sheriff. Can you do something with him?
Dogs. Yeah, I'm not buying any of this. So he just wants to go home. That's what we find out. He just wants to go home. But there's all this other crazy shit going on. These cubes. This is like when Iron Giant fell apart and all of his screws were trying to make their way back to him.
I guess this thing crashed in 1958. They've been experimenting on him ever since. They took his ship apart in these cube things.
Yeah.
So they transport the cubes along with him, and
they keep trying to. In the videos, they're trying to reconstitute the ship. They're somehow trying to put it back together, but it never seems to work. Are they missing one?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
It's never explained why they can't. But all of a sudden he can at the end. But meanwhile, Joseph finds the garage in the cemetery, and you see the creature digging a hole.
Yeah, and that's another question: does the creature go into the garage, shut the door, and then dig?
I don't want anybody to see what's going on.
How does he get through the door? How does he lock it from the outside?
He did have hands. He had opposable thumbs. I don't know.
So, the kids ingratiate themselves into this investigation. So they're all over the place. They get arrested at one point. They're on the prison bus. Once they get arrested, they're on the bus that the creature actually knocks over.
This is another great scene. This is a great sequence. This thing just attacks the bus.
And he attacks the bus because he wants revenge on the colonel that's been keeping him hostage all this time. So he kills him.
Yeah.
So this creature is not like nice, like E.T. It eats people,
well, I mean,
and it kills people.
1958, you've been probably poked and prodded. They're taking blood samples. They're probably asking them stupid questions. Where are your friends?
So the kids escape the bus because once it knocks over, they're able to get out of the prison bus. So now they've seen the monster. Yeah. So they also see where the creature has its lair. As you said, it's got burrowed down under this garage. It took Alice at some point.
And then you find out that the military is setting wildfires in order to evacuate people. I'm like, so this is just like Close Encounters, where they were drugging the cows to make it look like there was some kind of a gas leak to keep people away from Devil's Tower.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, this is why we don't trust our government. What are you doing? Just tell me there's an alien. I'll believe that.
Although you think that if they were going to go through the trouble of evacuating the town, they would have done it the first day when they knew that this thing was loose.
Yeah, I mean, the sheriff is literally blowing up a tanker as a distraction.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
But yes, we get to the alien's lair, which looks like Pennywise's lair from It, because all these people...
It's pretty substantial.
All these people that have been taken throughout the movie are all there hanging upside down.
So and it's funny, the dogs are smart enough to run away, but he can just catch people left and right.
Yeah. So Alice was taken earlier in the movie, and the kids are down there looking for her. They find her. She's hanging upside down. They see the alien eat somebody that's hanging upside down.
Yeah.
So they find the sheriff. They find the girl in rollers that was mentioned earlier in the movie. They're all escaping, and the sheriff gets killed, and the girl with the rollers gets killed as well.
Well, this is what happens when you curl your hair.
So the monster, in turn, goes from being sympathetic to being terrifying and a killer, like on the drop of a dime.
Sure.
So it's very hard to sympathize with this thing.
Joseph, meanwhile, he has like a little connection with this thing.
Yeah, because apparently anything that touches it has a connection with. Then why does it eat people if it knows what they're thinking?
Right. That's why I don't worry what cows are thinking, because I know I'm going to eat them eventually. But he tells them bad things happen, but you can still live. Let it go. And it's like, this dude just wants to go home.
Yeah.
Can I go home now?
So the creature, for whatever reason, waits till then to build his ship.
Yeah, now all of a sudden he can magically put it back together, where 21 years he's been unable to do it. I don't know. The cube, everything was like, all the metal things were being drawn to the water tower, but it's never really explained why. And it includes his necklace that has his little cameo necklace that has his picture of his mom in it.
Yeah.
And at the end, he lets it go. He lets it go. Cathartic. Release it. Let your mom go. Don't hold on. Let the alien live.
A few years later, he'd probably be like, you know what? I should have kept that necklace.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of regret that.
Yeah.
A stupid alien hasn't even returned any of my phone calls. Yeah, the ship magically constitutes.
What's happening? One of the kids says, and Joe says he's making a model. So the alien was inspired by Joe, who makes models? I
don't know.
I don't know.
You never tie that together.
The alien makes the ship, flies away. Everybody's doing the, Spielbergian awe look into the sky. Yeah. But we don't get the line of dialogue when somebody looks around. What happened to the girl in rollers? Where's the sheriff? Yeah.
Right. Don't worry, Joe. You're still going away tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about this at home. Like, come on, Dad.
Yeah. And it ends right there.
Yeah, that's it. No end credit. No nothing.
I've got mixed feelings about Super 8.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great to look at. It's very nostalgic. It definitely has that very timely feel, that flavor, like it could have been made in 1985. Riding on the piggyback of the Spielberg nostalgia.
Yes. And the leads, the kids, are all very likable. They're all very believable in their parts.
Yeah. And the best part of the whole movie is watching their movie.
Yeah, their movie is better than the movie itself, Super 8.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Because they have more passion. They had more. We weren't just like, oh, we're just going to kiss Spielberg's ass and make a movie about his movies.
So when the kids are in command of Super 8, that's when it excels. But when the alien comes into it, it kind of falls apart. So it's kind of half there. Like you said, it does manage to capture Spielberg at his best, but just the story itself,
There's a lot
too
more
many
questions.
questions.
There's a lot of questions.
Didn't make much
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
The aliens seem shoehorned into it. I would give, terms of buckets, I would give Super 8, just for what it's trying to do, I would give it a solid 3 buckets.
Yeah.
I would give The Case, the kids movie, 4 buckets.
There you go. They're actually ahead of the curve with those zombie movies.
Yeah.
It has some creative kills too, shoving the kid's head against the nails.
Against the nail, yeah. And it was always the same kid getting the same
Yes,
zombie
correct.
getting killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took him out numerous times. We only have so many friends. I agree. I think for what it's trying to do, it's there. I'll give it 3 1/4.
3 1/4.
Yeah.
But what would you give The Case on its own?
Oh, that's a solid, probably 3 3/4.
Yeah.
It is. Again, you sit through the end credits to watch their movie, and you're like, all right, this is more enjoyable.
Which is
together.
clever. Yeah. So there you have it. What else did we do this week?
So as I just mentioned before, I have been going down the road on Comet TV of rewatching the X-Files.
Okay.
And we just hit the premiere season 5, which is, to me, when it really kind of hits its stride. This is coming off when you find out Scully's cancer diagnosis, and you're bringing in the smoking man, and Mulder's reunited with his sister, who he's been chasing since episode 1. We get the lone gunman. So Redux 1 and 2, it's solid. I think that was when that show really kind of hit its stride. But this was where all the conspiracy stuff really starts to kind of, you're starting to get answers. The fact that Fox is reunited with his sister Samantha, and it's alluded to that Smokey Man is really her father, her biological father. I don't think we find out at that point that he's Mulder's biological father as well. Scully's dealing with her faith, having cancer, the chip in her neck, and that the chip was put in there to actually stop the cancer. Like I said, any episode where the Smokey Man and the lone gunman show up is always solid.
In the middle of all this, so many solid standalone episodes.
Yes, yeah. Like there was an episode leading into this where they think Mulder was killed. Mulder's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's also where you start to think that Skinner is not on the up and up, and that he's got other issues going on as well. It's fun. Listen, I haven't seen these shows in quite some time, since probably 97. It was a staple. We watch it every week, just like when Lost dropped. Yeah,
I've got them all on DVD. So as the seasons would come out, I would get them and then watch through them all. Yeah. I've seen the whole show probably about 3 times.
Okay. Do you skip the Robert Patrick, Annabelle Gish years? Or do you?
I did. I bought the.
They're still wrapped in plastic.
Just so I could have them all, but I never watched. I watched them live on TV, but I never watched the DVD.
I don't think you need to. Yeah. So it's such a great show. So ahead of its time, Chris Carter.
And it meant so much back then in the 90s to watch.
I mean, to have these overriding story arcs. I mean, whenever you watch the opening credits, and if the truth is out there was something different, you knew you were in for a mythology episode.
Yeah.
That it was going to advance. Now, it did get muddled. Like, I don't think he came in with any kind of set game plan that this is how it's all going to play out, but no TV show that runs 8 seasons or whatever and has 2 movies and a spinoff is going to have everything spelled out.
That could, this could be the start of geek culture as we know it today, because, as we're getting Superman and Fantastic Four week after week here, back in the 90s, that didn't happen. So the X-Files was kind of one of the first things that we could grab onto.
Yeah.
That became really a part of the overriding popular culture.
Yeah, and it was water cooler fodder.
Yeah.
Like this was early internet too, where you couldn't just type in xfiles.com and see the name of the episode and a description. Like you had to dig deep on the internet to find this stuff and to really analyze this. Yeah, no, it's good stuff, man. We were all in when that movie dropped.
Oh, definitely.
I don't think it's ever happened. I mean, I know that there's been TV shows that have become movies, but to put a movie in the middle of seasons that are going to tie these storylines together, even though it was a pretty standalone story, it did advance the aliens and all the other stuff. That's the other thing, too, is you start to realize that, you know, everything Mulder was led to believe and that he was fighting for, it may not be real. There may not be aliens at all.
Yeah.
So, again, don't trust the government.
What would have been great, you know, once they transitioned to the movie, if they just did movies after that.
Yeah, there was, at the time, TV shows were big. I mean, this was, you know, a season was 24 episodes.
Yeah.
You could get a lot of stories. The Monster of the Week, like you said, the Monster of the Week was the formula. Just every now and again, you throw in a little Krychek, or you throw in a little alien bounty hunter, and how it all tied together. Yeah, good stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, just remember that one episode with the submarine trapped in the ice and the alien bounty hunter. Yep.
Yeah. I met that guy. He was a Poughkeepsie. There was some event.
The bounty hunter.
Yeah. Brian Thompson, I think is his name.
Okay.
I don't know if he's ever done anything before or since, but
oh no, he's in a lot of things. The alien bounty hunter.
He's a B actor. Yeah.
Yep. What did I do? I didn't do much, but on the first Friday of every month is when Shudder premieres the Joe Bob show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
it's still going, huh?
It's still going. The schedule
changes.
Say
that about this show.
So yeah, you could say that about this show.
We had another episode drop.
The schedule changes every season. So this year he's doing it on the first Friday of every month, so he can stretch the season out almost all year long.
Oh, geez.
So when it comes on, he does a double feature like we do. And the format of the show is he and Darcy, they introduce the movie. They give you some background. And during the movie, almost like commercial breaks, but it's only a Joe Bob break. There's no commercials. At various points in the movie, he comes back on to either lead you through what's happening on screen or talk about the actors that are in the movie. And he does this about 4 or 5 times throughout the movie. And rather than it be a distraction, it's actually welcoming when he comes back on. And then he's got a little middle segment in between the two, and then he does the second movie. So when you're watching it live on Friday night, it doesn't end until 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning. Because each movie is like a 3-hour almost thing.
Sure.
So I usually don't watch it live. I wait until Shudder has it streaming, which is a couple of days later, and it takes me almost all week to get through it. So this month for July, he did Werewolf Night. So he did a double feature of Dog Soldiers.
Oh, yes.
And Bad Moon, which I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's a 90s werewolf movie with Michael Pere, who is Eddie in the Cruisers.
Okay. No, I don't think I've ever seen it.
And we have to do Dog Soldiers. I know you've seen it.
We do, yeah. It's fantastic.
It is a great movie.
Anybody who's ever mentions it is like, dude, have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah. And it's still
it.
very low on the werewolf radar to this
crazy,
day.
But yeah, it's pretty solid.
Bad Moon was it was all right. Okay. It was like, what was that Stephen King movie? Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet.
It was. I would compare it to that. Yeah, I would compare it to Okay. It's done really from just to show you how silly the plot is. A photographer who with his girlfriend is in the South American jungle, and he and his team get attacked by a werewolf, and he's the only survivor. So of course he comes back home and he turns into a werewolf. He's living on his own in the forest in a trailer, so he stays away from humanity. His sister, played by Mariel Hemingway, finds him and invites him to stay on her property in his trailer. And for whatever reason, he says yes. He knows what he is.
He knows exactly. Maybe he doesn't like his sister.
he does make a half-hearted attempt to handcuff himself, like when the moon comes out.
Right.
Doesn't work.
This will stop me. Does he gnaw his hand off?
The movie, much of it is told from the point of view of the family's German Shepherd, who knows that something is not right with this guy, and is trying to communicate to them that something is off. Yeah,
you're making this up.
I'm not making this up. As a matter of fact, the movie is based on a young adult novel called Thor, which is the name of the dog.
Right.
The novel is told entirely from the point of view from the dog.
Is it just like that episode with that chapter from Hodor? Hodor. It says bark, 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 bark.
Yeah. Just like you're saying, I'm in my head thinking they don't go as far as giving the dog inner dialogue, but you see like the dog cam point of view a lot in the movie.
Well, it's a different take.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Joe Bob has fun with it.
I was going to say, he must have a lot of fun with stuff like that.
Yeah.
That sounds like something right up Mr. Science Theater would do.
Yeah, it's just a shame that they didn't have rights to every single movie. You know, they could only get these public domain movies, but they could skewer so many big studio projects as well. Yeah, but that's what I did.
Okay. That sounds like a lot.
So next time, we may be going back into the horror genre.
Hulk Hogan in memoriam is that what we're doing? We're not doing Super Suburban Commando or Mr.
or No Holds Barred. Remember that one?
No Holds Barred.
Yeah.
Santa with muscles.
Was that a Hulk Hogan?
Could we just watch the sex tape? Hulk Hogan, 72?
71.
71.
But in wrestling years, like 71 is like 110. They destroy their bodies.
So roided up, and I think that's exactly what happened. The report said he had a cardiac arrest.
Yeah, but the injuries that guy has amassed over the years. Because just think of it, his finishing move was the big leg drop, right?
Yeah.
You land on your spine every night. You jump in the air and land on your spine. So he had
Chevy
back
Chase
issues.
probably gave him a couple painkillers. Yeah, first Ozzy, now Hulk.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on, man? Her entire childhood.
But no, we are not doing a Hulk Hogan double feature next week. We are going back into the horror genre. We are covering a new horror movie that's being very highly touted. It's not out yet, but it will be by our next episode, called Weapons.
Yeah, I saw the movie poster for this. I'm like, we're 3 months out from October, and you're dragging me back into this these damn creepy kid movies.
Now, this is directed by Zach Kreger, who already earned his horror chops by directing Barbarian, which came out about 3 years ago now.
I've heard of that, but I don't know.
Which is a crazy movie. I don't even want to give away what happens in that movie. We haven't covered it yet. Maybe someday we will. Basically, I am trying to stay away from plot points of Weapons, but I do know it's about like a community's children that disappear.
Yeah, I saw that. I think that's a poster. Like, kids just disappear one night.
So knowing just that barest of plot points, I thought it would be a good opportunity to cover one of my favorites from my childhood, which is a 1980 movie called The Children.
Oh, this sounds fantastic.
Which involves a school bus driving through a toxic green cloud.
We got Toxic Avengers.
And coming out the other side with the children as zombies. So it is something to behold.
Interesting.
It is available on Prime without, you don't have to pay extra for it.
Oh, that's good. I don't know if I want to pay for this.
So it's not one of these $3.99 deals. It's free on Prime.
Which is still a bargain.
Yeah.
You'd probably be paying $5 now at Blockbuster for a rental.
Right. But yeah, Weapons and The Children will be next time.
Okay, come back and listen to me whine. And I get to bring the concession tree, so I hope there's some green slime.
Yes, hopefully.
Candy out there that turns kids into zombies.
Yeah, you've already done, what was it that you did last time?
Warheads.
Warheads, yeah. So we've already gone...
Oh, Weapons and Warheads would have been perfect.
We've already gone the nuclear option.
Maybe we'll just go the cigarette candy cigarettes.
Candy that'll kill you.
They're weapons.
Yeah.
Children love them. All right. Well, this was fantastic.
It was. Let's say it one more time.
Fantastic. When you go back and edit this, you're going to have to do a fantastic count.
I will.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be able to. I'm gonna lose track.
My limited vocabulary has been it's in full form right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, cool. Thank you very much for listening.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Tell your friends. And we'll see you next episode.
That we will. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
If you like what you just heard, be sure to follow TMI Confessionals of the Nerd Kind on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, or whatever you listen to your podcasts on. Also, be sure to email us at tmipodcast2018@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on all of our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, Threads. Just go to tmiconfessionalspodcast.com. All of our links are there. And leave us a 5-star review. See you at the concession stand.
Fantastic. It's fantastic.
Fantastic.
It's fantastic. This guy is fantastic.
Beautiful. Fantastic.
Yeah. I keep saying this fantastic because that is a
So let's say it one more time.
Fantastic.